Hi, this is a tutorial to show you how to navigate your new website and how to create invitations using your new templates. The first thing we're going to do is go to the website, fordbridge.com, and log in as normal. Now I use wp-admin. Pop in your passwords. This brings you into your dashboard of WordPress. Now I think you're familiar with WordPress, but I'll take you through what we've got here at the moment anyway. Up the top you've got your GoDaddy information, and then as you come down you've got posts. You don't need to worry about that because that would be if you were doing a blog. In here you've got all your media, so any photos and images, videos, that sort of thing. Going down, we've got all the pages that have been set up. So at the moment, your front page is the holding page. And then we've got the other pages in here, which I'll go through in a moment. Formcraft Basic is where your forms are. Appearance goes into the themes and things, which we don't actually need for this because with the Oxgyen builder, that has all the theme information in it. So plugins are where all your plugins are. You'll notice that down here we've got Oxgyen, which is the builder that we're going to be using. Your users, so at the moment there's just the two of us here, but you can add different users if you want to. All-in-one WP migration, I'll go through that with you when I show you how to create a backup. Yoast SEO, I don't think you need to worry about too much because you said that you're not going to be attracting people to your website, but it's here in case you wanted to use it at all. Oxgyen is the builder, but you don't need to worry too much about this. However, there are tutorials and documentation in here, including a series on YouTube if you wanted more information on it. But I'll take you through everything that you need to do to create your templates anyway. Here we've got the templates that I've set up. Now if we go into pages, you can see that we've got a design system page. Now I just created this. It's got your colours in at the moment. You can see the general spacing that I've used to keep things looking consistent, and then the different typography fonts. So I've used Inter, the font Inter, as it's a really clear font, and then these are the general sizings. You don't need to stick by those, but that's just there for a little bit of consistency. Then we've got our home page, which at the moment is this launching soon. I've set up a quick, simple privacy policy. I actually copied this from your website, so you can change that however you want it to read. And then we've got a simple invitation here, which I've created already using the template. So you can see this is just a really simple template with the header, a little description, the register now section, and a little bit of information about the client before the footer. And if we come down to Oxgyen and to the templates, this is where all the separate little templates are that I've set up to create your invitations. So if we have a look, for example, at header A, click on Edit with the Oxgyen, you can see that this is that header template. Now, I think it's probably easiest if I just go straight in to creating a template so that you can see how it all comes together and works. So to come out of here, you click on Exit To and back to the admin. Click on Leave. So we're going to create an invitation for an event that has speakers and an agenda. So we're going to do this by clicking Add New. Then we're going to add a title. We'll call this Invite with Agenda. And then we're going to click on Publish and Publish again. Now the reason we need to publish it straight away is so that we can get in to edit it with Oxgyen. Now Oxgyen is the builder, and you'll see this has just popped up here. So we'll click on Edit with Oxgyen. Takes a couple of seconds to load, and this is the Oxgyen screen. So this is your main editing screen. If you click on here at the top left, you've got Add Element, and you can see you can create things from scratch using different sections and columns. You can add in text, links, all sorts. Everything is here on the left hand side. There are also different header builders, all sorts of things which you can have a look in. Oxgyen is really flexible as to what you can do with it, including different WordPress options here as well, dynamic data, etc. But we are going to concentrate on using the reusable items that I've set up, so the different template sections. Go straight down to the bottom here to reusable. You'll see all the different templates are here. So we're going to start by adding a header, and I've called these the same as they were in the drafts that I sent over to you. So we've got header A, which is the larger header, and header B is the smaller one if you ever wanted to use that one. So we're going to start by adding the header, so we're going to click header A, and then it asks you if you want a single one, which is just the standard header, or whether you want to be able to change it. Now this is because in some websites you might want a section like a call to action that is going to be the same on every page, so you might just want to pop that in there without changing it, but we want to change all the details in the content, so you want to click on editable, and you can see it's popped it right in. Now I think the easiest thing to do is to just pop all the sections in that you want, and then we can go through and change the content after. So let's add the next section in. I'm going to click on add element, and we're going to add in an event description, and again we want this to be editable, and you can see that's popped that in there. We're going to add the next element, and we're going to have a meet your host section. That's going to be editable. Then we're going to pop in a what to expect. That's going to be editable. And then let's put an agenda in. So we'll click add element, agenda, editable. The registration section, which is here, register now, editable. And finally we're going to pop a footer on the bottom, which again is editable. So once you've popped all your sections in, we're just going to click on Save Changes. I always like to save as I'm going along just to be on the safe side. We're going to then edit all the contents. Now this has been set up so that it's got a main colour, and then a background light grey, and then a slightly darker grey. So it's nice to pop those colours in so that you can easily find them. Now you can do that by going up to settings and then global styles, and then if you click on colours, and you can see I've already popped a couple in here. We've got Fordbridge events colours from your logo, and then we've got the colours that I've used in this template. So we've got the royal blue, a light grey and a dark grey and a black. And then I've already created a little template for Udemy, so I've put in the colours for there. Now you can see that we've got different light greys and dark greys for the different colours. Now that's because greys can look very different, and it just is nice to have ones that are really complementary. It does make a difference to the way that it looks. And even this darkest grey, which is nearly black here, is a version of that purple. And I'll show you how to find those. We're going to create one for Cloudflare. So I'm going to click here on Add Colour Set, and we're going to call that Cloudflare. Now all of these colour sets will be available when you start editing the page, so that's why it's a good idea to do it first. So now if you click on Cloudflare, we can click on Add Colour. And we're going to add their orange first, so if we put in Cloudflare orange. So if you don't have the hex code for the main colour, you can find it easily by dropping their logo into this image colour picker. Now you might have a different tool that you already use, or there are lots of different ways you can find it on Canva. I've got a little colour picker on here which is quite handy, Colorzilla. But this is quite a good quick way of finding it. Click here on use your image, and then we're going to browse or drop image. So if you click on drop image, and there's the logo, and you can see that as you hover over the logo, it's letting you know which colour over here you're on. So we're going to click on this orange here, and you can see it's given us the hex code of this colour. I'll leave the link to this image colour picker in the description for this video. We're going to use this tool, PALX, to give us some complementary colours that go with this base colour orange. You can already see that some of these greys definitely wouldn't go with that. So you paste in your hex code and then click on update, and it's given us a range of greys at the top here that all look really nice with this orange. First we're going to pop in our base colour. So if I go back to Oxygen and we're going to paste that in here, click on add colour. Now we're going to add in a light grey. So if we come back to PALX and we're going to choose grey 0, which is the lightest grey, and add colour. Now we're going to add in a mid grey. Now for this one we're going to use grey 2, and that just is a nice light grey background. Now I just like to pop in a couple more just in case you want them while you've got it open. So if we pop in a dark grey, so we could use grey 4. And then a darkest, which you can use instead of black. Now I like to use a light grey instead of white as the background because it's a little less harsh on your eyes when you're perusing websites. So we've got our colours in there now, so we can close this down, click on X. Now we've got our colours saved, we can go in and quickly change all these colours to match the branding. You can see as you hover over different elements within each section, they're highlighted by having a little orange block over them. And if you click on each one, you get a different option within this left panel. So we've got a text box here, a heading, an image, and a button. So we're going to select this button here. And if you have a little look down here, you can see you've got the button colour. We're going to click that. And as you scroll down, you can see the colours that we popped in here. So we've got the Cloudflare orange, and that's changed the button style. Now we'll change the logo while we're here. So if we click on Browse, and we're going to add in a Cloudflare logo, and you can see that's popped that in for us. We're going to select the event name, change the colour to the orange, and you can see straight away how quickly you can make these changes with the colours once you've got them already saved. So that's the top section done with the colours. If we come down, we've got Meet Your Hosts. Now this is made up of 3 columns, and you can select on the images within the columns. Now for this we need to find the border to change the colour. So we're going to go into Advanced, Borders, and change the colour to orange. Now let's do that again. Advanced, Borders, Colour, Orange. Now another option which might be a bit quicker is you can select and duplicate the columns. You can do that by clicking here on the duplicate component, and you can see that's just copied this whole column. You could then move that column around if you wanted to change the order just by clicking and dragging. And you could also just select whichever divider you wanted to select to delete by clicking this recycle bin up here, remove component. So that might be a bit quicker if you had a lot of them to do. What I would do if I had several rows is just select the whole column and then duplicate that, and you can see you've got now 2 rows. Now we're going to delete this whole column because we don't need it right now. We're going to link these up with the pop-ups in a bit. We'll do that separately. Right now we're just focusing on the colours. So again, we're going to select the names, text colour, Cloudflare, You can see how quick this can be once you've done it a couple of times. And again, you could have copied and pasted, but it's just as quick to do that, I think. To change the section backgrounds, just to make sure, because at the moment we've got the royal blue, light grey, we can change this to the orange light grey. Now there's hardly anything in it, as you can see, but I think it does make a slight difference. So I'm just going to do that. A tiny bit brighter, I think, than the blue. So we're going to change also the background for this section. This is the dark grey. For the blues, we're going to use the mid grey, this one, which you can see straight away what a difference. It almost clashes with the blues, whereas it's going to look nicer with the oranges. Now we're going to change these colours of the little icons, again by clicking on here. You could, again, copy and paste these, but I think it's just as quick when there's only a few of them to do them like this. And we're going to do this button. Now this is the agenda section, so we're going to change the background colour to the light orange. We're going to change the logo. I'd already popped in the Cloudflare logo. And then we're just going to go through and change these colours to orange. So this section is the register section, so we're going to change the background to the mid grey, and we're going to need to change the background form to the same colour, and the button of course. And that's it, that's all the colours. So while we think about that, it might be a good idea to do the form next. So let's click on Save Changes, and we'll do this while we've still got the packs colours here. So we're going to go back to the dashboard. So if you click on Exit To and then WP Admin, unless you want to go and have a look and see what it looks like, you can click on Front End and you can see how it's looking already. Then if you go into Dashboard, and we're going to make a new form. On yours, I don't know whether or not you can duplicate forms. It doesn't seem to be available on here. But what I did find is if you go into the form and then you go into Settings and then Others, you can click on Export Form File. This will save a template of it wherever you put it. So I'm just going to pop it on the desktop. And now you can import this into Formcraft, which is going to be quicker than recreating them each time. So if we click now on Create New Form, you can click on Import Form, Upload Form Template, and then it was Simple Invite, Open. I'll call this Event with Agenda. Obviously this will be the date of your event or however you want to name your forms. So now we've got the form there, and you can see that this form has the purple colours, and we're going to change the background and the button so that it matches the colours that we've got on our invitation. Now to do this, it's going to be easy if we change the width so that we can see, because if we click on here you can see the pop-ups come up and they come up off the side of the screen. But if you change the width you can see them. So we're going to change the button colour. We click on Select Colour. Now because this is a different plugin within WordPress, unfortunately it doesn't come up with the Oxgyen options. But if we come back to PALX we can just copy and paste them across. And then we're going to change the background colour to our mid grey, which was grey 2, I believe. And of course you could save different templates. So if you know that you're going to have lots, I expect you do this anyway, if you're going to have lots for Cloudflare, you could save this as a Cloudflare template and then import it, and it would have the colours already for you. We'll change the width to back to 100, so then it's going to fit perfectly within WordPress, and then we'll save the form. Now we'll go back into settings and embed, and we're going to copy this shortcode and then go back to our page, which is invite with agenda, and click on edit with Oxgyen, and that will take us straight in. Now if we scroll down and select this section with the form, it tells you here that it's a shortcode, and then you can just replace this shortcode, and you can see it's popped in our new form. Okay, so that's all the colours replaced, so let's click on save. Next, we're going to add a link to our register button, so that when somebody visits the page, they can click on register and it will take them straight down to the form. Now to do that, we need to go and find the form, select the section, and you'll see here that it's got an ID number. Now this ID is section 11161. Now we're going to copy that, scroll back to the button. If you select the button, and you'll see you've got a URL. Now we just need to put in a hashtag and the section and click on set and add link. Now we have this here as well, so we'll do hashtag section set add link, and that's all of them. That register is on the form. So let's save that, and then we'll go and view the front end, and you can see when you click on register it drops straight down to the form. And we'll just test the other button as well. So if we scroll down, click on register, straight to the form. Okay, so to go back, refresh, and you'll see it comes up with Oxgyen here. So you can hover over Oxgyen, click on edit with Oxgyen. Okay, so now we're going to change the text. Now you can see here we've got date and event location. Now once you've selected it, this panel on the left has changed again, and you've got the content here. So you can just select the content. If you've already got it, you can paste it in, or you can just type it in. And the event name, I'm just going to copy this from where we've already got it and paste it in here. If you want to change the formatting, you can see here this is a little bit big maybe, and also left aligned. So you can click on advanced, and then you've got all sorts of different formatting options in here. You have a certain amount of things you can do, like we could change the font size here. We could just bring that down maybe to 46. Depending on what title you've got, you might want to fiddle with it a little bit. Size and spacing, again you can change the padding if you wanted to. And then we've got typography. If you click on typography, this is where you've got your text aligned, so we can just make that centered. Click on this text, and I'm just going to copy what we've already got and paste that into the content box on the left. And you can see generally it's just going to automatically add it in how you want it. So I'm going to go through copying and pasting some text. So you can see sometimes it comes in with a little bit of formatting you don't really want, or you can find that and just tidy it up a little bit. So that's how you change the text. Again, here with the name, paste in the name, typography and centered. And again, depending on how much information you've got to go in there, you might want to change the text size. This, for example, you could change the line height. There's all sorts of things you could do. You could change the padding so that underneath you've got a little bit of space. And I'm just going to copy this across and then delete that, and then copy it across, select and delete that. So then we've got the same formatting. And again, I'm just going to copy and paste this just as an example. To change the images in here, you just click on the image and you can see we've got the image selected. Then you go to Browse in the Media Library, and you can either have a look in the library and see what we've got already, or you can upload any new files. We could add in Sergio and keep going through. It's that straightforward to change the content. So I'll just carry on, I'll copy this. And then again, to change the text in these lists, you click on the text, copy the text you want to put in there and paste it in here. And then any bits you don't need, you can just delete. The agenda is actually the agenda from here, but again, the same applies. To change the time, you click on the text box and it's in here, so you could change it to 10:30. And the text is the same, so you click on the text and then you replace it with whatever you want to replace it with. These are in different boxes. And again, this is all the same. Okay, so you can see here I've copied the registration information in here. At the moment it's centered, and you might want to change this so that it's at the top rather than centered, as there's only a little bit of information here. And also we might want to make some of this text bold. So firstly, to change the layout, if you select the actual divider that this is within, you can see you have the options here to change the alignment within the divider. So at the moment it's selected for the middle. You could put it onto the bottom, or you could have it at the top, or you can have it in the middle. I think when there's not so much text, it actually looks a little bit better when it's aligned to the top. And if you wanted to make some of this text bold, you don't have an awful lot of options, but you do have a few here. So you can select the text that you want to change, and you can select bold here, or italic, or underline. Okay, so that's all the text changes. Now let's have a look at the images. So some of these are background images within the sections. So this is a background image here. This is a background image. And so is this. And that makes it a lot easier because it will automatically size within the box. Now to change these images, you need to click on the actual whole section. And you can see we've got the section selected here. Now if you're not sure if you've got the whole section, you can click on this structure button at the top, and this shows you the different sections. You can shrink them down and you can open them up as well to see and select the different areas within, and it can be quite useful when navigating around a large page like this. So we've got the whole section selected. Now to have a look and see how to change the background image, we go to Advanced and Background, And you can see here we've got background image. So we're going to click on Browse, and then you can select whatever image you want to pop in there. So say we want to put in this bridge. We would select that, and there the bridge is. Now we've got the colour over the top. So if we click back on background, you've got your image overlay colour. If we select on that, you can change this, make it lighter or darker. Now I recommend keeping it quite dark, sort of 80%ish is pretty good, because we really want the text to pop out. The most important thing is that the people that visit your website can really clearly see the text. So I would keep it pretty dark. So you select your header, you go to Advanced, Background, change your image here under Background Image. So let's go back to this one. And then your image overlay colour is here, and you can change it with the slider going up and down. But just make sure you can really clearly see the text. So let's save that. Now we're going to scroll down to this image here. Now this is a background to a divider. So again, you click on the divider, you go to Advanced, go to Background, and you can see the image here. So if you click on Browse, let's change this to the wine bottles. Click on Select Image, and you can see it's changed it straight away. So if you wanted a completely different image, you would go Advanced, Background, Image, click on Browse, and then you would drag in the image that you want to use, give it a name, select image, and then if you want to change the layout, because as you can see that might not be quite how you want it, you can fiddle around with it a little bit here by changing the left and the right. And I'm just hitting the down button, and you can see how it's affecting what you can see. So I'm just playing with how far left it is so we can see a little bit of the speaker. So that's quite a handy way of just adjusting the image so that you can get it looking how you want within the box. And if we scroll down, the same happens with this divider at the bottom. So you click on the divider, go to Advanced, Background, click on Browse, and then you can pick a different image. So let's choose this so you can see. And again, if you wanted to change the layout, you might want to move this so you can get a bit more of the skyline. So that's how you would change the image for these backgrounds and adjust how they display. We might just want to change the order of some of these sections. So we might want to pop this section above the Meet Your Hosts. Now the easiest way to do that is to click on Structure, and then you can hover over, click and drag to change the order. The last thing we need to do is create the pop-ups for the hosts. So we're going to create a pop-up that appears whenever anybody clicks on this area here, so either on the image, the name, or the description. Now, Oxgyen calls pop-ups modals. So what we're going to do is create a modal for each of these people. Now, if we select that whole section, we're going to click on Add Element and go down to Reusable, and you can see we've got Host pop-up here. So if you click on Host pop-up, we're going to click on Editable, and it's created a modal. Now I don't really like where it's put it, so I'm just going to move it out of this area just so that it's separate. There we go, I prefer that. It makes it easier to see the formatting. But it's good to have it right here so that you can copy the details across. So we're going to copy the image just by clicking on duplicate content, and we can drag that across here, and then you can select the image you don't want and click on delete. Now let's copy his name, paste that in there, and we'll change the colour to our orange, and then we can copy his paste that in there, and then you would copy in his description and then click on save. Now you can see this is all within this modal here, host one pop-up. You've got it set up with columns and dividers, but you can easily click on the different areas. So we're going to click on host one pop-up, and if we have a look in the left hand side, you can see you've got all the modal information. So it's asking you, what do you want your trigger to be? So we want it to be when the user clicks element, and we're going to come down here, we're going to choose the element, and we want to choose this divider. And you can see it's changed the trigger selector. And we're going to click on save. And now if we exit to the front end, and if we scroll down, if we click here, you can see his pop-up pops up. Even if you click down there. Now let's refresh the page. Go into Oxgyen, edit with Oxgyen. And we're going to scroll down. And if we go back to this structure panel, we're going to copy this pop-up. So you can just click on this duplicate here. And we've got host one pop-up. And you can change the names of these. So we could call this one, oops, Sergio pop-up if you wanted to. And this one could be Christina. Sometimes it's easier to name them because you can easily find them when you're looking. So we're going to copy that, drag that up there. You could also replace the image like normal. We'll copy her name in here. And her title. And then if we select the whole modal, we're going to change the modal to show when user clicks element. Let's choose the element. So we want it to be Christina's area. And then we'll click save. And we'll now copy this modal. So let's duplicate. You can see we've got a new one here. And we'll make this one 1. And we'll do that by choosing the image just to show you. So you would just select the image as normal. And then select his name. Paste it in. And his details. You would probably have these already in a document. And his description. And then we're going to select the whole modal. You can change the name if you want to client. Change the trigger. We're going to choose the element, and it's this section. So let's click on save, and we'll go and see what happens on the front end. So when we click on this register, that will take us to the register. Again, this one. Scroll down, click on Sergio, Christina, and 1. Right, so as this is a template, I'm going to go back into this structure panel, and I'm going to change these pop-ups just to host 1, host 2, and host 3, and they'll link to 1, 2, and 3. But you know how to add any new ones in, how to copy and link them up. If you wanted to and you didn't want them showing there, we can move these all to the bottom out of the way now. And you can see they're just at the bottom. And you can easily have a look at the rest of it. But yes, that's how to create a new invitation using the templates. So if we go back to admin, and we'll go, you can see your invite with agenda is here. You might notice from time to time this Oxgyen's global colours have changed. Now that's because we added in some new colours, and it will ask you to regenerate the CSS cache. It's quite a good thing to do this when it pops up. It brings you to the Oxgyen settings page, and then you can click on regeneration and click on start, and it will just go through regenerating the caches, and it doesn't take very long, as you can see. And these are all the bits that we've added on. You can see it's changed the colours. Alright, so if you wanted to view that page, you would go into pages, click on view, but then that's your URL to send to people. If you wanted to use that as a starting point, you could just click on clone, and that will create a copy of that invite with agenda, and then you could use that. And again, I've created a simple invitation which just has a header, a description, a register now, a bit about the client, and then the footer. Now it's a good idea, especially if you've created a new invitation, to create a backup. Now I've installed all-in-one WP migration, so if you go there and then click on export, and then click on export to file, this will create a complete backup of your whole website. And then you just click on download. You can see it's not very big. Click on save, and that will save it to wherever you've asked it to, and then click on close. Now you can see here we've got backups 1. If you have a little look, you've got export, import, backups. This is where it saves it also onto your website hosting. So whenever you do create a backup, it's a good idea to delete the previous backup. Otherwise it can start slowing down your website a little bit.